let's talk about how we can control type in XD. First, let's create a document. So when you have new XD document, you may start with basic design. So that will be iPhone 10 and 10s. So once we got this page layout, what you can do next is to click T. Okay, so we start with the very basic one. Let's hit a T and just simply type. To adjustment the size, what you can usually do is just go here, and you can using up and the down arrow key to change the size of the type. One benefit of this is you can preview the same time on the same screen. So what you can do is command return or control return. Enter on a Windows computer. So we have this one on the side. The preview window really it can be on all the time. So we can just go back to scene. Okay. There's some fancy function we will talk about that later. Okay, so we have a type, and and then you can change the color. I definitely would try to put this one on the other side, and then you can have a border. Okay, so those are some settings for the border option. Okay, you can make this one pretty strong. We want to do some crazy design and have some special shape. I think that's going to be a good option. So for example, in this one, we can do a simply command D to duplicate one copy there, and uncheck the border, and then put them together. You create something slightly different with border text. Okay, which is maybe not very easy to do using the just the default setting. Okay, so next we try to do is to really to create a bar and put the type there. So for example, we're going to do a rectangle tool, hit R, and we can draw one box on the top. Okay, and then we can fill with the color, fill with this, kind of like a gray color, and then we're gonna send this one to back, just like a regular, layout design components. Okay, sometimes you can do a little bit crazy, a little bit creative. I think that's pretty nice. Okay. All right, so in case you want a line, an easy way to do is just create the border, and maybe let's give it this one too. I want a little bit like orange or very bright color line, but I don't want this one to be show all the other side, all the three sides. So what I can do is just slightly expanding this. Okay, so they will only show the line here, so that make the whole design much more easier. You can have a better control on this. Okay. Next, the function we usually do is a list of text. So it's like a selection menu. So what you can do is hit a T, create the first text box. Okay, you can use just basically type, or it's a little bit bigger size. Right, it's because the fill color. So give this one a basic color right back. You may wonder what is this? Is a new 3D transform tool. So we'll show that idea later. Okay, so we have this one. We just kind of want to create a basic list of those elements. What we can do is we have this one here, and it's quickly using Command R to generate a repeat grid. So let's say we want, how about 8? Okay, so kind of create this content, then what you need to do is just a regular text-based database, which what you can do is to have a separate document to just create a plain text document to list those items. So I put some software names there, and a save. You can using text editor or all type of those things, which can generate a TXT file. You can click and drag. Once you finish that, you can click and drag those TXT, so they quickly create this list file. I think it's pretty nice. We have this, how we can create the menu from those basic, really basic operation. And in case you want to change the order to never, open, of course you can, double click and then manually type or change those things, but always have this text document here handy to always adjustment those order will be a good idea. So in this case, I'm going to move this dimension down below the Dreamweaver. So kind of like change the order, and also I'm going to put a Photoshop to the first line. So each line will replace each of those components of this repeat grid. So once you're done, we just reapply this in. So you change the order, and you don't have to actually type, open multiple times, actually type in Illustrator. In Adobe XD, sorry. So here also there are one things that would usually do is some cool function. So let me show you some cool function. Here we have this background. We can give this background a little bit of like a color, linear grid color. But what about you create a very long document? You want this one to be feels like you can scroll and see more information. So in that case, we need to expanding this. Okay, so let's create a color gradient. So from here, we can start with, for example, red, and then next will be kind of like purple, and it just continue to generate those color gradients. Okay. So when we simulate this, the scroll effects, we can have this rainbow color over there. Let me just sort of enhance a little bit of the details. This color is too dark here. I wanted to, sometimes wanted to balance it. Of course, this color needs to be white, so it's a very beautiful. You see the type menu here on the top. We want this fill color maybe a little bit linear grid as well. You can see that quite a nice details. So now let's try the adjustment a little bit about this part to work on particularly size. The one thing is very useful is to select this particular components and hit Command 3. So we kind of like resize this one to make sure that you can focus on this part. So here's the fun part. We're going to try this new 3D transform tool. New 3D transform. So let's try to select all together. Let's see what the 3D transformer can do for this group components. We can actually do this way. I think it's working pretty nice, and you can see a little bit about 3D effects, and of course we can do more than that. Next, we're going to try to just adjustment this one separately. Okay, this is really to feel the whole things as a 3D, so we can kind of like adjustment emoted, kind of a molded dimension. Okay, of course you can do from here and using those arrow keys to adjustment the details. Sometimes the on-screen controller may be not a good option. is not very accurate when compared with just a number based. Okay, you want this one to be a little bit dark. All right, so we create some little tiny touch details. So let's see what do we have here. You may, in the real case, you may have some icons or the buttons here. So let's just scroll to see what happens. You know, the color changed and it looks beautiful. But one thing is keep move is the title. You know, in the real case, when we do a responsive design of a page layout or a website, we usually wanted to keep the top portion stay there. It's like a quick shortcuts to somewhere. So in this case, we can do this one in this prototype as well. What you need to do is just highlight these components you want to stay and just go here to click this fixed position when scrolling. Okay, so click this one on, and then when you do this, it's going to stay there. Also, see the new problem is this one seems on the top. This is very quite normal because this object is on the top. Okay, so what you need to do is just select this one and send backwards or send to back. Okay, let's move here and just send to back. Okay, and let's try to bring this one to the top. Okay. Let's see, we can make this one even send it back. All right, so sometimes we need to back to layers. So this is a rectangle. Okay, let's see. Let's do a little bit of troubleshooting here. Bring to front. It's actually should be already on the front. Right, so let's keep testing this. Okay, so it seems this part have some issues with this bar. And by evaluate this part, we feel this one it is above this bar. So it's supposed to not do this way. But there are one things we can try in this situation is first we can do is to one option is just redraw this bar. I think once you redraw this bar, let's see, we can delete this one and redraw a bar here. Okay, and then we turn this one to block. Okay. So we see this is, let's bring this one to back. Okay, so we have this black bar here, and let's try to preview. No, first we needed to fix this position. Okay, so let's see. So this time is really beneath this. And there are also some other options like you create a masking area only for this particular part. And so then there will be no problem. So let's add this border here to give it this a little bit brighter border. Okay. But overall, I sort of, I feel it's pretty nice, especially when we'll be able to experience this new transformer tool to really to feel this one is like a 3D space. Okay, so let's do a little bit of control here. Okay. Obviously, this still have a lot of work. I think that's because of the 3D transform. We see those objects disappeared. when we do the 3D adjustment. So let's see. Okay. Okay, so let's try if we can quicker fix this. So if you have the similar issue before, XD officially announces some solution that could be done. So let's see what we can do. Okay, when we turn off this one, really, there's not so much things we can do for this one. Because we already put all the things on top. There's 100% appearance. All seems normal. Okay. So let's just go back a few steps. So before we do the adjustment, and I think that's caused a problem. Those transform is a pretty new function. But overall, I like the concept to introduce this idea so you can create those, fixed position bar and also try some basic type control in XD. So the finally part is for the paragraph content. For paragraph, what you usually do is this one is very similar to XD, to Illustrator. So you can click and draw a text frame. Okay. Okay, so when you draw a text frame, you can quickly just type. So the difference is this type of a content. Again, let's uncheck the border. So this type of content is in the frame. So when you adjust the size, it will reflow and to adjustment those sizes for you. Okay, so here, just a very basic essential introduction, but also showcase some way for you to think about creatively use Adobe XD, which is very nice software.